In this video, I explain the federal election 2025. The election day for the German Bundestag is determined by the federal president. Typically, this is done in coordination with the federal and state governments. According to the basic law, the election must take place no later than 48 months after the convening of the Bundestag. This means that the election for the 20th German Bundestag must be between August 31st and October 26, 2025. A specific date was recommended by the federal government on July 24, 2024, and confirmed by the federal president on August 23, 2024. If the Bundestag is dissolved, a new election must take place within 60 days. This could, for example, be triggered by the Chancellor's vote of confidence. If the Bundestag withdraws its confidence from the Chancellor, the federal president can dissolve the Bundestag. In the case of a new election following a dissolution, preparations must be made rapidly, which the federal returning officer confirmed in a statement. However, she pointed out that organizing an election around Christmas would be difficult. The organizational preparations for the election begin early, even if a new election is possible within a few weeks. Candidates for the election can be nominated no earlier than 29 months after the start of the legislative period. For parties that need to collect supporting signatures for the election, these can be collected from the nomination of candidates. This date has been since June 27, 2024, allowing parties to prepare their campaigns during this time. The SPD and CDU/CSU agreed on November 12, 2024, to propose February 23, 2025, as the election day. After discussions with the faction leaders, the federal president and the governing parties also considered this date realistic. If this date is confirmed, the new Bundestag must convene for its constituent meeting no later than March 25, 2025. A new allocation procedure will be applied for the federal election 2025, which was decided in 2023. The size of the Bundestag remains at 630 members. From the next election onward, there will be no overhang or compensatory mandates. Direct mandates will only be awarded if the party's share of second votes covers this, with the exception of individual candidates who can receive direct mandates. The 5% hurdle remains in place, meaning a party must receive at least 5% of the second votes to gain seats in the Bundestag. An exception applies only to parties that represent national minorities. A planned amendment to the Basic Mandate Clause was declared unconstitutional by the Federal Constitutional Court. Parties that win at least 5% of the second votes or receive the most first votes in at least 3 constituencies may continue to participate in the distribution of seats. In the federal election 2021, the parties received very different results. The SPD became the strongest party, with 25.7% of the second votes. The Union parties only reached 24.1%, which was their worst result. The Greens celebrated a historically good result of 14.7%. The AfD achieved 10.4%, while the left narrowly missed the 5% hurdle with 4.9%, but was still represented in the Bundestag thanks to direct mandates. After the 2021 election, the SPD, Alliance 90/the Greens, and FDP formed a coalition, the so-called Traffic Light Coalition. The coalition agreement was signed on December 7, 2021, and Olaf Scholz from the SPD was elected Chancellor on December 8, 2021. This coalition governed the country until the breakup of the Traffic Light Coalition in November 2024, when disputes arose, and Finance Minister Christian Lindner from the FDP was dismissed. The SPD and the Greens continued to govern until a new government was formed or new elections were held. In the federal election 2025, various parties and candidates will run. In addition to established parties such as the SPD, CDU, Greens, and AfD, there are also new candidates. The SPD will likely be led by Olaf Scholz as the Chancellor candidate. The CDU is relying on Friedrich Merz, while Robert Habeck has announced his candidacy for the Greens. Other parties such as the Left and FDP have also already nominated their candidates for the election.